Hey y'all, I just wanted to address some issues from a few years ago that people were having trouble with problems that we had in the past. Uh, Here's the thing: I don't like telling people that when you're upset about something, uh, there's no reason for you to be upset. Uh, it can be very disrespectful and hurtful and make the situation a lot worse. You gotta understand that it should be a level of legal repercussion for somebody, um, or something. There should be some sort of repercussion for people that are just incapable of holding their tongue, incapable of being kind to someone, incapable of uh, not using the harshest rhetoric when it comes to speaking to them, speaking about them. Um, so it's the thing is the point I'm trying to make is when someone's upset, I don't like telling people there's no reason to be upset. Even if you don't know why you're upset, there might be a reason. Because this conversation, you remember it for a few days. But I want you to keep it in the back of your mind because time passes and things fade and we forget. And then new things rise and go, new things come up and go. But uh, people have different abilities and people have different technologies all throughout the world, and people have different strengths and weaknesses. And the way that we move and the way that we do our business, the way that we do our things, if we have problems that we can survive through, even if they're really bad, even minor issues and minor problems could really cause major problems in areas that we don't think we're kind of connected to in some way. Um, so it's really good to always do your best. I don't like the philosophy of uh, I want to be successful. I don't want anyone else to be successful. If I see someone successful, I want to take them down. I want to take their success. I do not believe in that at all. I think that your success is your success and it's waiting for you. There's no need to ever be constantly having this nightmare of I want to take somebody else's life or take somebody else's, spouse, which is so disrespectful. It really hurts your soul and it hurts the soul of the person that you're talking about. When you lay these curses, when you say these types of words and you think it's a joke, and you're essentially ignoring the pain, or you're not sensitive enough to your own feelings, to where you cannot feel the pain of the words that you're saying that are essentially hurting your soul. And old law, old law essentially states that we can strike you, we can attack you with sticks and stones, we can hit you with our fists. That's the way the Bible is written. Um, they talk about regardless of your race, there is slavery, or a conquered nation may become slaves. And if it's a disrespectful slave, they may be beaten and things like that. And in this day and age, if someone, it's not legal to harbor that type of thing, but it becomes very legal to basically tell someone that you're not going to get paid when they're essentially, for whatever reason, excommunicated or, um, you know. But that should be judged by maybe you're just not ready for this type of responsibility, because essentially it also is very cruel to say that this person would be someone's property, um, regardless of race or sex or anything like that. I want to see everyone be successful. I want to see everyone overcome their problem stages in time with hints. Don't just give everyone the answers right away, because guess what? Those might not even be the answers. Sound quality is so important because when there's such a high demand for sound that they're literally paying for your sound, that's because they haven't heard anything in a while. So if you're putting out too much sound, you're putting out too much radio waves, you're putting out too much noise all the time, how can you justify people paying for that? Um, or if they're so accustomed to being like, I don't like sound at all, because people who have no sensitivity towards the pain of sound. That you say music cannot cause you. I like music because it doesn't cause any pain. I've lived in a culture where that was the norm. Like we were literally using music to cause so much pain in people's lives that their souls are completely damaged, and they've become extremely violent, wild animals who know nothing but abuse. And it's a lot of it has to do with sound, because the sound is not kind. The sound is disrespectful. The sound is hurtful. It's using the meanest, cruelest words that you can possibly imagine. Um, and what does that incur when you lay curses on people, for people who don't believe in the power of words, the power of prayer? Um, what does that incur when you don't think that words matter? You don't think that your words have an effect. You use them all the fucking time. It incurs a lot of pain and warfare and death. That's what happens, and it'll come back on you. It'll hurt you as well. The fact that you're not sensitive enough to feel the pain of the words that you're putting out. You don't feel the pain of the sound that you're making on others, even though they're telling you this is really hurting me. It's physically, I feel physical pain in my body from the words that you're using near me. I'll pray for you. I'll pray positivity into your life, but I need my space. NASA. This is a broadcast from Houston, Texas, by the way. My name is Derek Fisher. You need to know that these words, they're not a source language. They're not a true language. It's a fairly new language in human history, but it's still a very, very valuable language, and it can make you rich. But if you're using these words incorrectly, I would literally beg you to just stop talking, because just as easily as you can become rich and valuable and wealthy in life, so too can you really end your life by sending out so many goddamn curses and things like that, ending other people's lives, hurting friends, hurting family, hurting people that you need in your life. Not feeding your brethren, not feeding your soldiers of your country, which if you don't believe in borders and countries and things like that, you're very ignorant. You know, there's no reason why we can't support the well-being and the benefit and the upcoming of every man and woman, every brother and sister on planet Earth. But if they're not progressing fast enough, even if we're supplying hints, if they're not progressing into their full destiny of essentially having a brotherhood and a sisterhood across mankind that respects these resources on the planet, then they do need to be hindered. They do need to be limited, because it becomes a waste on our resources. So like I said, I would never tell anyone you're upset for no reason. I would never tell a witness you're crazy. What was the number one reason when I told my mother and all she wanted to do was put me in a psych ward? I told her there are people spying on me on my phone. I'm not fucking crazy. It's making me upset. And what does she do? To her dying day, she would constantly recommend that I would go to a psych ward. Illegal, disrespectful. And because I was so upset and I could not get over these emotions, I felt very excommunicated from my social network. I really lost track of all my friends. The constant abuse from my father, who would constantly scream at me over the phone, screaming at me, "Why can't you get a fucking job, you fucking bum? You motherfucking bum! You bum! Get a fucking job, you bum!" It's literally the speech that I would get from the ages of 17 to this day. I would get that speech. I would tell you the recipe. All I have to do is just ask him for $40 every day. He'll give it. After the third or the fifth day, I'll go ahead and film that. I'll film that conversation again. It's just so painful to listen to that I really hate to publish it, because it's literally the most horrible thing I've ever heard in my life. I already feel extremely excommunicated and devastated. Why? Because my soul is being damaged constantly by both my mother and my father. And the pain that I'm feeling is just making it impossible to feel these friendly feelings and feel happiness and feel communal and feel brotherhood and sisterhood and just on love, feel well fed, which I don't feel well fed. Um, the, the only two options that I had, which I would never wish this on my children or anyone in life, were to either become so fucking strong mentally, and I'm becoming as strong as I am mentally in the physical as well. But I haven't even become as strong in the physical as I am in the mental. My spirit, my ghost, because you see my body here, you see that I have a body, you see my portrait, and if you screenshot this photo right here, and you look into the photo and you mentally ask this photo questions, you might hear something. Maybe you'll hear somebody else, maybe you hear me. That's the phenomenon of a talking photo. Um, there's a song that I really like. It makes me cry. It's called "I Hear the Secrets That You Keep When You Talking in Your Sleep." I hear the secrets that you keep when you talking in your sleep. Knowledge is knowledge. Do you need more knowledge about how money works? Eat an apple and reflect on it. Do you need more knowledge on how? You need more knowledge on what an apple is essentially, because there was a concern that maybe an apple. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe, is an apple a good thing or is it not a good thing? Because I see an apple in school, and I also see an apple being offered to Adam from Eve. Where did Eve get the apple? Why did God want them to live in essentially a blissful ignorance um, in paradise? And why did Eve want that to change? I don't know the full scope of what could be thought on this, but it does kind of speak true to the nature of a woman who a common mythology of a woman is very beautiful. She's with the right guy. She kind of views him as, doing good. I really like this guy, but what does she think? She wants to have some fun, and she wants to break the rules a little bit. I don't think she realizes how painful some rules to be broken should not be broken. And if it means an eviction to eat this apple from their entire house, or else they'll be living in a desert, I think that it's not really the rule that she should be breaking. And it also causes a lot of pain in their relationship. A lot of pain. Women don't realize how much pain they can put on a man. And I think that it's a strange thing that there's no rules on magic. What did I write? Can you see it light up? Is it glowing bright? Yes, you can see it. Magic is spelling. If you spell something, it it can come true. But it can also kill you. It also kills somebody else. Or it can make things better. Or it can make things a lot better. Here's the thing though, there's always a witness. There's always someone paying attention. There's always someone that can kind of notice what's going on. There's always someone that can look back in your book and see what happened and see what you did. Sometimes people that don't even have good judgment capabilities. You don't believe in this type of thing? It might not even be real. You want to know why? Because it can fade. What time are you in? What dimension are you in? What country are you in? What universe are you in? What year is it? What time of day is it? Sometimes it's ineffective. Sometimes it's very effective. Maybe you just don't have the gifts. Maybe you're just not capable of doing it. Maybe you're not able to do anything. You know? Maybe it's just the area that you live in. Maybe it's the time that you live in. These energies may not be as effective. May not be effective at all. But still, the number one thing that you can learn is that even if this is not a magical time in human history or not a magical picture that you're living in, because we all essentially are living in pictures. Even if you don't see a camera, it's art. As human beings, we live our lives essentially to become aesthetic, beautiful. We want to make beautiful pictures. We want to be in a beautiful picture. We want to be beautiful pictures. We want our house to be a beautiful picture. We want our neighborhood to be a beautiful picture. We want to see beautiful art. We want to be beautiful art. We have a strong desire to be beautiful art. Um, so, uh, the most important thing that I can tell you is don't tell people that they don't deserve to eat. Don't tell people that they don't deserve to be communicated with unless they're highly disrespectful. People have very much these days lost their way in terms of respect, which I think is the first step than um, than anything else towards getting back from excommunication into any type of communication with anything real. Um, it's constant communication, it's constant competition with primates over females. Um, essentially ceases to exist when you see such a high level of abundance and you're essentially so well fed that there's really no reason to feel this competitive over a mate or a female or anything like that. When you see the level of abundance in society, it kind of does, or when you've come from a nature of abundance, it kind of puts your system and your mind in a state of ease to the point where you're not as competitive anymore. Should you still be though? Should you find that inner competition? Some people find that so easily. It's because you have one element of life and you represent that element. It's the three signs of fire, the three signs of air, the three signs of water, the three signs of earth. Fire, Aries, Taurus, Gemini, and water. Libra, Scorpio, Sagittarius. All this is copyright Derek Fisher, by the way. Now, so uh, you know, and in the air, 4, 5, 6. I can go into further detail on what these elements mean, and then the Earth, 10, 11, 12. But I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of a lecture here on the importance of respect first and foremost, because that's literally the number one reason why we've lost so many people, because so many people have failed that test these past few years. And through faults of their own, through no faults of their own, people can kind of look into their story and see what exactly happened to cause them to become a sort of a bully of a character, and why we wouldn't necessarily want them in the picture. Um, and a big lesson that I learned is, you know, you yeah, you can ask, yeah. So finding in your heart to not be so cowardly, though, that's a big lesson I want to teach people as well. Uh, you'd be surprised at how many people could so easily help someone that's their hero. What is a hero? Someone that overcomes obstacles that regular regular people who are in essentially very good pictures, and they've just had it. You know what I mean? Like they just have it. Like they're just there. They're just in a good picture. They are in a good picture. A hero is someone that either does a fine job of protecting a picture from it being um, tarnished or taken or affected in some way by something that is essentially not a very good piece that we wouldn't want in our area. We usually keep them locked underground. Those are the titans of Greek mythology. All of the bad things and the bad pictures, um, we keep them locked deep underground very securely. Uh, uh, you know, so or someone who's pursuing their picture. What is their picture? What is their picture? But they're making the same mistakes over and over again. A big mistake that I've seen lately is uh, coveting another man's wife severely, to the point where your only language, even in the peasants of your nation, their only language is coveting women of another nation, uh, which can irk men and women of that nation if they essentially don't desire you, or they don't want that much business, or they don't want to be talked about in that way, and they essentially just arrest you because they've heard you talking this way, which is offensive in their language so many goddamn times. And there's only so many times you can bully me into acting like it's cool. It's not cool. Like, what is wrong with your women of your nation or your men of your nation? I don't it was really about women. And the level of disrespect was so goddamn offensive. I wasn't really paying attention to that part as much as people would think, but it was pretty disturbing to me when I tuned in. Um, I was very enthusiastic about various music styles. It's very rare for a musician to just kind of know all the music styles and be actually a legend status in all the music styles. But that's just the age of the internet. That's really where I ended up at. I'm not going to say that every single one of my recordings was a winner, um, but that would be my kind of penance. Is like, why don't you just marry into your own nation? You know, because people from my nation, I don't think that they're as psycho disrespectful as uh as these people were, and we could probably get through way more doors. You know, I'm not saying I have a problem with you. Essentially, I don't have a problem with you. I think that there's very good-looking people from all nations. There's beautiful men and women from all nations. But you got to understand that there are borders, and it's a measure of respect. It's a measure of respecting our culture, respecting our families, and respecting people that don't know how to live near us, and acting like you can just move in and take over and blah 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 and disrespect us and shit like that. We're just gonna arrest you or deport you. So, anyways, yeah, uh, I yeah, I am going to try and reflect more on making some money. I just lost my job recently, which sucks. They said I can file for unemployment. I'm supposed to be able to get Social Security. Um, it's been very difficult for me to find work. Um, I live in Houston, Texas. I'm gonna go to the Texas Workforce Commission. Hopefully, they have something for me. I want more knowledge on how money works, and it would help a lot if people would communicate with me more. Because a big disappointment for me is I'm usually the one that starts a conversation with people. Uh, Without incurring any fear, which is kind of a talent that I've. Because when people are trying to start a conversation with me, it can incur some fear in myself. Uh, I it's been hard. It's been hard because hurt people really do hurt people, and uh, you'd be surprised at what people are capable of offering you. But right now, I do need help with money. I literally have like $350. I literally had to sell my cowboy boots and my guitar I bought today to get back up to like $800. That's literally how much money I have. You know, money is essentially gold. Whenever you see those green stacks, you're gonna think, "Oh, this is gold." So it's just use the Libra scales to get the weight of gold versus the weight of whatever it is, or maybe a lesser metal, gold, silver, and bronze. Those are the original currencies, and before that, it was literally just like heavy rocks. So or or we would just trade things, valuable things, fish, meat. It's actually very smart. You can do a food bank, sure, but hunting for yourself, hunting and fishing for yourself, and there's some farmland nearby. You'd be eating really good, and it probably wouldn't cost that much if you have everything you need. Um, and if you know how to cook, and the animals are well taken care of, and they're healthy, and they got a healthy water stream, and healthy grass, make sure that you can literally, like, if you really want to go deep into it, you can take samples of the grass, samples of the waters, samples of the air, because as human beings on this version of Earth, um, or in this time of Earth, um, and there's other planets as well with life as well, physical life as well. It may not be visible to you right away, maybe never, but there's all the amazing things of the world that people have said when you were kids. You should know that there's a level of truth to it. Um, it may not be real in your picture. It may be even your job to say it's not real. Because what are we going to do? Imagine something that essentially has nothing to do with our life and our picture. Live your picture. We don't have time to talk about something that is actually very fascinating, but essentially should be in some pictures denied. You know, from what we're working on. You know, but it is absolutely fascinating to talk about and tell children about. Um, so we need to be stewards of the lands, of the air, of the sea. Humans, men and women. When you say humans, I like to say men and women. Men and women of Earth. Uh, we need to protect the land, the air, and the sea. Uh, and yeah, yeah. So because it's it should be a perpetual motion system that lasts forever. I don't want to see the land be polluted and the waters be polluted and the air. Do you? No, you don't. You don't want to see that. That's a concern. And some people in politics become so offended by even telling them that essentially as leaders of the free world, that's kind of their fucking job, and they should take concerns of poisoning the air a little more seriously, not so sarcastically. That's why a lot of people are so offended and turned off by politicians who essentially are very unattractive. They look like they literally live in a coffin, and they're so goddamn disrespectful. I mean, sure, you can talk a lot, maybe because you talk a lot, people might think that you're smart and you know what you're talking about. But the essence of intelligence is not necessarily the amount of words that you have. That's like saying, "Oh, I can shoot arrows and miss the target every time, but look how many arrows I shot." Yeah, well, you can go back into beginner class and tell everybody that you missed every single point. I can hit points all goddamn night and then wake up in the morning to go for fight training, which I have UFC fight training at 6:30 a.m. and right now it's currently 2:30. Um, we need people that are more attractive in leadership. We need people that essentially the essential rule is protecting borders between different races of human beings. There's no reason why we can't be friends and be respectful, especially in America. Um, and we've learned to kind of coexist and maybe mix a little bit respectfully. But I yeah,